Alright, what is going on everyone, and welcome to my Mad Max review. So recently I finished up the game. If you want to watch my Let's Play, it's 34 parts in total. And so what we're going to be going over is what I thought of it and what you should expect. So I'm going to try to avoid spoilers, and the gameplay you're watching right now is just a side mission. So don't worry, I'm not doing any main story anything. So if you want to see what it's like, there you can have a chance. But overall, let's start with everything, the basics of it, and then we'll go over like the actual mechanics of it. So, first of all, Mad Max, it is available on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Pretty standard. Most AAA games are on all the platforms. It's developed by Avalanche Studios and published by Warner Brothers. It came out on September 1st, and overall, I thought it was a solid game, but now we're going to be going over like what I thought about it, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail. So overall, in general, this game is an open world adventure game. Like, you start with it's not based off the movie, so if you haven't seen the movie at all, don't really worry about it. The story is not even connected. So you start off with pretty much nothing, and then you're building your way up to the end, essentially. And that's where the RPG part comes in, where you could like upgrade all your abilities and stuff. So at first you get this car called the Magnum Opus, and then you meet a guy named Chum Bucket. He's pretty much the guy who helps you out throughout the entire game, repairs your cars, upgrades stuff, and pretty much guides you through the entire game. And without spoilers, you're essentially going through all of the like main areas. So if you look on the map, there's 5 different areas you go to. It's like pretty much progress. So what does this game feel like? Essentially, it's, aside from open world, it feels like an Arkham game, Batman combat style, and a lot of driving and fist or hand fighting combat, pretty much. There are guns and vehicle combat as well, but most of the time when you get out, it's going to be using melee instead of weapons, because ammo is like hard to find and stuff. So as for the storyline, I would say it somewhat made sense, but it's like you're not really playing it for the storyline. That's at least what I thought, in my opinion, because it's all like scattered around. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's this one area through the middle of the game where you talk to the person maybe once, and she was like, or the person was part of the main plot and the main leader of that faction of the zone. And I actually only talked to that person once, and the story is just all over the place. Sometimes, if you expect to get much out of it, I wouldn't say it's that interesting. But since the beginning of the game, I played it on PS4. There are a couple bugs. I'm not sure about the other platforms, but apparently I've read on the forums and stuff on PC as well as Xbox that they're having similar issues. So I'm going to go over these bugs right now because I do feel it's important, and then you should know about it. So one of them is kind of breaking, actually, where throughout the game there are many instances where the main mission icon, like, you know how in most open world games it shows you like a point on the map. It's like, hey, go there if you want to do this one, a green point if you want to do main missions, blue if you want to do side ones. Well, the main one usually never appeared. The way to fix it occasionally is by relogging or completely restarting the game, which is kind of annoying, but sometimes it works. That's how I got it to work. And so there's a lot of side missions and main missions, and just exploring in general. That's what you should get out of this game if you learn anything. And a lot of it is repetitive. So what you should expect, aside from just main story, is doing Wasteland missions, which are the side missions, and those are pretty much helping the factions. You start with 5 threat level. Each faction or zone has a threat level. It starts at 5. Your goal is to pretty much get it down to 0, and you're doing favors for the main leaders, and then you get rewards for doing that. Would I say it's really necessary to do? Some of it is, because it's required to progress through the main story. then some of it is just like if you want to do side missions, get achievements and whatnot. But some things I had problems with, or not really actual game problems, I just thought it was unnecessary in a way, is that okay, so the main story is you have to do this, this, and this. Some of them had requirements where you have to do various side tasks throughout the objectives, which are essentially like lowering the threat levels and finding said items, which you do normally when you're exploring, just free roaming in a way. So I thought that was a bit unnecessary, because if you don't want to free roam to progress through the main story, you shouldn't have to. It should be optional. But they force you to do it in certain areas, and I guess that's how you get more out of it. Because one area, you really could just skip right through it if you wanted to. You don't even have to talk to them. Well, you just have to talk to them to progress, but you don't have to do anything in the area, so they make you do it with the storyline. So it gets kind of repetitive. So each faction, as I mentioned earlier, there's a threat level. You're supposed to lower it, find parts, and do that. You pretty much do it 5 or 6 different times. The scenery looks pretty much the same, and I don't know. I didn't really think it was that great, but let's quickly go over like all the visuals, storyline, the gameplay, and all that stuff. So I thought the visuals were absolutely great. It looked good even on console, and from what I've seen and read on the PC port is very excellent, so that's something to consider. The storyline, it's not really there, since it's, I don't even understand, like I understood it, but I just wondered why some things even happened without any explanation. So I'd give that like a 5, and then the visuals are like a 9 out of 10. So the gameplay overall, as much as it's repetitive, some of it was pretty fun to do. There are races, you get this leaderboard so you can play with your friends. Well, not really play with your friends, just compete for times and stuff. So overall, I thought the gameplay was pretty solid. You go to camps and just like take out stuff. There's a lot of stuff to do in the side missions, which is pretty much what you're going to be doing for the majority of the time while you're playing the game. So the gameplay, I'd give it a 7. The replayability, obviously, once you finish the game, you can go back, free roam, collect everything. And so there is gameplay to it. Me personally, I didn't see it. And then the audio, the storyline, didn't have any bugs or any issues with it, so it's pretty solid. And overall, let's go over a summary. If you were thinking about picking it up, would I recommend buying it for full price at $60? Probably not. I would wait till it goes down to like 30, 40, then I would say it's acceptable. But yeah, if you're too long, didn't read, didn't watch, whatever, didn't listen, it's an open world game. The storyline really is questionable. It took me about 20 hours to complete, and if you just want to watch it, you could watch it on my channel. I do have a Let's Play. I'll leave a link in the description. But there's a lot of side missions, a lot of free roaming to do. Some free roam stuff you should consider is like going to camps and just pretty much collecting all this stuff in there. That's where I thought was the most enjoyable throughout the game. The story didn't really pick up until the last 2 hours of the game, which it's kind of stupid. It should like pick up throughout the entire game, but oh, I thought it got interesting near the end, but it was kind of short. So there were a couple bugs. By the time you read and watch this, they may or may not have been fixed at this point. So just keep that in mind. Some of the markers for the main story mission are like not there. And I completed it, had very few problems overall. There's just like here and there some things, and it didn't really tell you where to go. It's more like, hey, you find the objective and do it. So overall, free roaming is kind of repetitive, and it was a solid game, but just keep that in mind. I enjoy like open world games in general. There are like, if you were to think of other games to compare this to, I would probably think like Far Cry mixed with Assassin's Creed, But Mad Max is obviously, the setting is in a desert wasteland area. There are essentially quote-unquote towers where you explore things, fast travels, and most of the time your goal is to be in a car traveling, and vehicular combat in a way. But that's pretty much what you should expect if you played those two games, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed. It's essentially like that, except in a desert setting. And yeah, overall I would think this game is a 6 out of 10. It was okay. It was a solid game, but definitely not worth the full price. So if you didn't see the movie, don't worry about it. You'll be fine, and I think you'll get the money's worth out of it at 30 or 40. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to watch the playlist, there'll be a link in the description. And hope you guys enjoyed this. I don't really do reviews that often, but I feel like I should have, just because this game, a lot of people seem to be interested in watching my videos for it. So I decided, hey, if you are going to pick it up, I should let you know what I truly thought of it. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later, and have a fantastic day. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like. It does help me out, and it helps the channel grow. Hope to see you guys come back another time. And I do upload videos 7 days a week of various different games, new Let's Plays regularly. And gaming season is pretty much starting now, so if there are other games coming up in the near future you would like to see me play, feel free to leave it in the recommendations, in the comments, and I will take a look at it, even though most likely if it's a big game, I've already heard of it or have pre-ordered it at this point. So have a fantastic day, and I hope you enjoyed the review.